Okay, and last up, Eric Kuila is ready to tell us about his most recent adventures.
Belated Happy Canada Day. On Tuesday, Chuck O'Dale and I went aerial exploring of a possible new crater site in Quebec, just 2 hours drive north of here, about 45 minutes by plane. We received this image of, it's a terrain image from Google Maps that someone sent, and we both jumped on it when we saw this because we realized this could be a site. Just because it's a circle doesn't mean it's an impact site, but we spent time studying the images and Google Earth and so on, and decided to take a little flight out to the area. So if we could go to the next slide, please. Chuck's always filling up the airplane, make sure we've got lots of fuel for our trip, and we embarked from Rockcliffe north on this flight. Next slide, please. And iconic image for us. We did take this image every time we go up in the plane. Next, please. On the way up, we had a chance to see a few other things, including my cottage. And this place here, if you'll recall, last year we had an earthquake. And just in northern Quebec, there was a farmer who lost his field. And it's still in that condition, and seeing it for real is quite something. I'd seen these images before, but when you see it yourself, it really brings it back. Next, please. So we headed to a place called SainteVéronique, Quebec. It's about 40 kilometers east of Mont-Laurier, and the town is actually within the crater, the supposed crater. Let's see, I can't tell. Okay, the slides are a little bit out of order here, but, and where's my pointer? Okay, here we go. So the crater would be, the rim would be these mountains here that we saw. We saw in the previous photograph, this is within the rim here, these lakes. Next slide, please. And here we found a spot that has bedrock. Now, bedrock is very difficult to find in this area. We saw mostly sand. Next slide, please. And okay, this would be the Trans-Canada, the 117 highway. And this is where the bedrock is. And there's a little trail here that goes up to the bedrock. And that's where we're planning a ground expedition to in a week from now. We'll be checking that out. Next slide, please. And there's another view of the bedrock. This is what we came to find from the air. It would have been impossible for us to see it from the ground. Driving around, we would have never seen this. So the aerial exploration is very useful that way. It helps you get a real feel for what's actually there. There is no map or anything that you can find image-wise that really tells you what's going on. Aerial exploration is the only way to really see what's there. Next slide, please. So this is the town of SainteVéronique here, and we're now headed towards the north end of the supposed crater. And as we flew around the site, we really felt we were in the presence of a crater. It's hard to explain, but and you can only see it with your eyes. The 3D effect of seeing something gives you that impression that you will not get in any photographs. Next slide, please. So again, we're exploring, trying to find bedrock, which we saw in the earlier photographs. Next, and again, you see this would be the rim here, and over the horizon we see it again. So very positive feeling that this is a crater site. Feelings aren't science, so we have to find the real evidence, which is found in impact melt, shatter cones, or even breccia provides a clue that it's an impact site. And okay, I can't tell. Okay, this is at the northern rim. Again, this would be the rim here, and following back and around. And next slide. So we're doing a counterclockwise circle around the site, and always seeing signs of a rim as we go along. Next slide, please. And this is the road that goes right through the middle of the site. and we're happy that there's a lot of roads and access. And I can't think of another place where there could be a town in the middle of a crater. Does anyone know where there's a crater that has a town in it? Okay, well, no. Sudbury, sort of, but not really this kind of situation. Sudbury is very, very large, so I mean, it covers more than just that town. This is a town literally sunk into this crater, and I don't think anyone there knows that this could be an impact site. Next slide, please.
What diameter is it?
It's 8 kilometers in diameter, and it's about twice the size of Chubb, of the Pingualuit crater in northern Quebec. And next slide, please. Let's see. I can't tell what this is anymore. We recorded with video as well as taking these slides, and I do a color commentary as we're flying so that we have notes. We're taking notes orally through this. It makes it a lot easier than looking down and writing on a piece of paper. Next slide, please. And there would be the town again, and now we're on the western edge of the rim. So we're seeing a rim again, almost all the way around this site. Next slide, please. And this is another shot of the bedrock that I took from another angle. Next slide, please. And there's the town. So we come in, the 117 is down here. We come into the town, and this view is probably one of the best ones that show that it's a rim in here. And like I said, in 3D, when you're looking at it out the airplane window, you really get a feel for that. Next slide, please. And a better shot of the town again. The middle of the site has a small lake called Bruno, so we've used the working name for this crater is the Bruno crater. So when we visit next week, we'll be exploring the bedrock and see if we can find some evidence. And I also want to go into the town and try to inquire if anyone has any information about it. Maybe the mayor's office or someone would know more about it. And next slide, please. And that's looking to the south, the town. There's not as much of a rim in this area to the south as there is to the north. But, and the bedrock would be somewhere in this area here off this photo. And next slide, please. And this gives a better indication where everything is. So we go up to Mont Laurier and then to SainteVéronique in here. And this would be the crater site. And Chris, can we go to the next slide? Okay, this is really interesting because I have to take my hat off to Chris for giving me this photo, because we actually discovered there could be an actual double impact. So let's show the first. So this is where we think there's a crater in this area. And in other photographs, I had been looking around and thought I saw something in here, but until I saw this photograph, I realized this could be an impact crater as well in here, thanks to Chris. And so perhaps on a future exploration, we'll go by air and we'll check out this area and go back and look at this again. And I think that's it for the slides. Eh? Okay, so if wish us luck, we'll see what we can find, and if we do find something, we'll report it back to you. If we don't find something, we'll report it back to you, and we're gonna have fun doing it anyways. Thank you.
Go back to the microphone.
Sure.
Have you guys checked to see if there's a geological map of the area?
We've looked around, we can't find anything, Simon.
That area there must be a geological map.
We love whatever information anyone finds on this, please just forward it to us.
It would be the first thing to check to see whether or not there's actually a geological feature, such as, for example, a granite intrusion, which would be that kind of size and shape.
Yeah.
We know the Bancroft-Halliburton area, for example, in Ontario, similar geology, in fact.
I wish I had Simon's insight into geology. That you know he he can see things that we can't see, and it is very possible that these formations are just geological formations. I think, Simon, you mentioned about plutons or something like that. Yeah, so it could be a fluke.
The check is what they refer to in Quebec as the ministère.
Okay.
Des ressources naturelles.
Yeah. Yeah, I could try in
There are
there.
folks that have the maps for that area, and I'm pretty sure there is a map available.
Just bring Simon with you.
Eric, did you see any sign of central uplift in the center?
No, it's so eroded that we didn't really see that. And it's you know, if it is a crater, it's so worn down that it's near the end of its life. It's probably up to 250 million years old. And so I looked for that. Very sandy. And I tried to envision you know, a fresh crater being eroded down to what it is now. But what we saw from the air was very convincing. We just have to find those rocks, the right kind of rocks. And that's the bell. Anything else? All right.